republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Dunn.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Polumsky.
Here.
Jensen.
Here.
Toludo.
Here.
Cahill. Absent. Vacant. Park.
Here.
Conquest.
Here.
Bastido.
Here.
Mulliner.
Here.
Brennan.
Here.
Verimus.
Here.
Deuter.
Here.
12 present, 1 vacant, and 1 absent.
12 vacant, 1 present, 12 present, 1 vacant, 1 absent. We have a quorum. Item 3, appointment of aldermen for the 5th Ward. I was trying to hang on to it for as long as I could, but we're going to fill it tonight. So, Mr. Nudera, if you and your wife would come up to the front. Thank you. We had about 9 candidates, and I was pleased to see a number of qualified candidates, and it was, after much consideration, you're the one that I think is going to best fill this role, and we welcome you tonight. And I'm going to, with that, I'll swear you in, so if you'll raise your right hand. I, James Nudera. Do solemnly swear.
Solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
The Constitution of the State of Illinois.
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
And the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst.
and the chartered laws of the City of Elmhurst,
And that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of Fifth Ward Alderman
of 5th Ward Alderman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
You are the 5th Ward Alderman. Usually do a picture, but I think we have no photographers, but what we'll do, Alderman Mulliner looks like he's ready to go.
Deputy Chief Anashevitz can do it.
Oh, there we go. So if you can take, if you want to take your mask off for this photo opportunity.
Thank you.
Is there oh, is it consent? Yes, we need to do that. Isn't it usually on usually it's just a
Look at
motion
these.
there. Have to take a motion in a second and the council vote.
Well, we'll take care of, hold it. One detail I forgot, which, I thought Alderman Mulliner would catch me on. I moved the nomination of James Nudera as Alderman of the, I need a motion for approval and a second. Alderman Mulliner, second. Alderman Toludo. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, now we can applaud. Thank you. Take good care of him. Okay. Would you sit down, boy?
What he just didn't put it. Thank you.
How you doing, Jim?
All right. You look good up there already. We're going to move on to announcements, and at this time, we have one more special occasion for tonight. We have our Elmhurst Baseball 14U State Little League Championship team here tonight, and I'm going to ask them to stand up over there by that far microphone, and we have the manager, Rob Fleming, with us.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to introduce the boys first and then just tell a quick story.
You guys want to come up here and stand up and see who we have?
Sure.
You don't often get stage change. We're pleased Pleased to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'd love to first announce Coach Ian Levy. We have Nolan Montella, Jack Connell, Jack Bodak, Josh Fleming, Ryan Lazowski, Nick Levy, Max Zangen, and Jack O'Leary. Our organization, Elmhurst Youth Baseball, is who we play for, and we waited a long time for a state championship, so it feels really good to be a part of bringing that home to our organization as well as our town of Elmhurst. These boys, it's a very special team here. We're a team made up of not just one or two heroes, but a whole team of heroes. They all contributed in a big way throughout our whole run with Little League. We had the privilege of hosting our sectional portion of the tournament, which is the level right below the state tournament. We hosted it at Barron's Park, so that was really exciting. And at the end, we came out on top, and we're champions of our section. And then we moved on to Rochelle, Illinois, which is about 70 miles away. We traveled and played against the top teams in the state, and we found ourselves in the championship game. And it was an amazing game against a very tough Burbank team. We were down by 5 midway through the game. We battled back. We were on top for a second, and then we lost the lead again. But in the 7th inning, we had a great final run in the game, and we came out on top, and we were state champions. So it was an extremely exciting game. You wouldn't want it any other way. These boys are all getting ready and looking forward to starting high school. They're actually going to a variety of different high schools in the area, so, they're going to be playing against each other, for a period of time. But then our hope is definitely to bring the team back together again and go for a senior league, because we won the junior league of Little League. That's what our state championship was. So we're hoping to come back next year and compete for the senior league state championship. So hopefully we can come back a year from now. So thanks for having us tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
All right, we'll save a place for you for the senior league. What I want to do is, if you guys want to walk around the table there and shake hands with each of the aldermen, I'm sure they'll want to congratulate you. Watch your step when you come down.
Congratulations. Great job. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. I was congratulations. Good luck to you guys. Congratulations. Good tie. Coming out tonight.
Happy for you guys.
Awesome. Good
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Way to go. Congratulations.
Good job. Great job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Who was the catcher?
Here's to
Congratulations.
you guys.
Congratulations.
Way to go.
Congratulations.
Coach, congratulations. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
No more personal.
Sounds like so much fun. Way to go, you guys.
Congratulations, Coach. Outstanding. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you, guys. As interesting as you may find the meeting, you're welcome to stay, but if you decide you want to move on at any time, take your leave. But thanks for coming down. All right, that concludes, I think, our announcements. Do we have another one? No. All right. In that case, we will go to receipt of written communications from the public. Is there anyone who wants to deliver a written communication, not public forum, but a written communication to the council? If so, raise your hand. There being none, we'll go on to item 6, public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the council on any issue that's of concern to you. We ask that you state your name. Address is optional, but it will help us to get back to you if we need to. I'll ask clerk if we have any one signed up. All right.
First one is Stuart Harris.
Mr. Harris, if you'll step over to the microphone that we were just using. And I'll ask that each speaker limit their time to 3 minutes so we can get the council business moving. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Please proceed. You can remove your mask while you're speaking.
Thank you. Thanks for your time this evening to the council. This is I ask for your forbearance in advance. This is perhaps what you may think is a relatively trivial issue for a council of this esteemed company, but one that's deeply personal and causing distress to me and my family. We have a situation that's been ongoing for several weeks, in fact months now, in the 5th Ward, where we have overflowing dumpsters in a particular location that has been ongoing for several months. I've been in communication with Alderman Park in the 5th Ward. In fact, Mayor Levin previously welcomed the new Alderman for the 5th Ward here, and I hope for your support in the situation here. This has also been involved with City Manager, Assistant City Manager, and others we have a communication chain email to try to resolve this, a communication where we're trying to get on the same page and come to resolution on this. I was invited to that on June 8th. There were a number of emails between June 8th and July 1st talking about photographs that I was sharing with those involved to try to come to resolution on this. I've received nothing since July 1st. I've heard nothing. I've had no communication. I've followed up. I've provided more photographs, and I'm not seeing an end to this or even an understanding of what the next steps are. So I ask for support from the council, from the city management team, and for some communication so I understand where are we going with this, and can there be a resolution to this. I'm only seeking to be a good neighbor, to look after my family, and to get use of my backyard without viewing a dumpster that's overflowing on a regular basis. So that's my request. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
The next person is John DeVay.
Mr. DeVay, state your name, please.
Good afternoon. John DeVay, and I'm at 867 Mitchell on the intersection of Jackson and Mitchell. I'm the northeast house, catty corner to the big schoolyard, the big grass schoolyard. As this gentleman said, I don't want to overdo it. In fact, it's more for tabling and consideration. We all have foxes in our neighborhood, but the retention pit from the water construction that was done right there at the school, those big rocks, they hold vermin. And in a dry season like this, it's quite an attractant. And we've got about 6 to 8 fox, but most importantly, they've grown up there. Our smell, human smell, is their world. Our garbage, our cooking. And I can tell you, in full disclosure, I have a little 12-pound dog I can't leave alone. That's not the issue. I'll watch out for him. But they get as far as this chair is from me in the morning. There's a confidence there with the school. My corner is actually a bus stop, and I have 2 images in my head. One is, we've all seen the young mother with the 1st grader and the 2.5-year-old in the stroller. And the second one is 4 or 5 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds that think they're going to bait a fox. As you probably see, I'm not from Elmhurst, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I've been bitten by a raccoon. You're not supposed to be bitten by a raccoon in Brooklyn. So getting bit by a fox in Elmhurst can happen very easily. But I'm telling you, there's a dozen between Sailor, Swain. There's a couple of families. They're finding squirrel heads. My neighbors are finding squirrel heads. I found a half a rabbit yesterday on my lawn. And we all have dogs. Your dog has to have the right spot. 3 turns this way, 2 turns that way. You know, the right poop spot. But these foxes are so urbanized, the middle of your driveway will do. What I'm saying is they're canines at the end of the day. And that gene is giving them a confidence that goes beyond healthy. And again, it's happy hunting for them in that pit because those boulders attract vermin. So my wife has called the city, and what we all know, they're not going to hurt you, they're not going to attack you, is the response. And of course, they're protected. I have no problem with that. But maybe you want to table a one-time relocation effort, because when you have close to a dozen fox that call that 5-square-block area around the school home, it's only a matter of time. And I know because I was that 9-year-old knucklehead kid that would try to bait one. And that's I just wanted to table it and let you know, I know there's foxes everywhere, but we have a problem right there in the Mitchell to Madison, down to Van Buren, Sailor, over to Parkside. yeah, Parkside, is that Park? Yeah, Parkside. That area, they even stop in the middle of the street to wait for the next one to catch up to them so they can go hunting together. They come down the street 2 and 3. And my neighbor across the street a couple of days ago, she came back from work, she came, got me. The whole family was sunbathing on her front stoop. So she didn't want to go in alone. So I'm just I don't want to, this is not Chicken Little, it's not the end of the world, but I wanted to tell you that when you hear about that 9-year-old that got bit by a fox at Jackson, you'll know why. So, for consideration, a one-time move if it works. I looked into it, but they want $250 a fox. And that's where my neighbors who all talked to me about it decided, leave it alone. I heard about the meeting, I thought I would bring it to your attention, that's it.
Thank you.
Again, I don't want to overdo it, but we have an issue, and it's their confidence. They're too darn confident. When a fox gets within 6 feet of you, he's not afraid. So,
All right, well, thank you for your comment.
That's
We'll
it.
have someone get in touch with you. Is there anyone else signed up?
No.
Is there anyone in the audience who did not have an opportunity to sign in but wishes to make public comment? There being none, we will close public forum. Item 7, the consent agenda. Is there any item on the consent agenda that any alderman desires to remove from the consent agenda, either for further discussion or to vote no?
You're going to read it. Somebody's going to.
I was going to do it after just to see what's left. Rain Ocean. Yeah, oh, yes, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you're right, all right. So there being none, I'll ask Clerk Malone to read the consent agenda in full.
7.1, minutes of the executive session of the Elmhurst City Council on July 19th, 2021. 7.2, minutes of the regular meeting of the Elmhurst City Council on August 2nd, 2021. 7.3, accounts payable, August 12th, 2021, for $4,363,578.09. 7.4, referral, establishing an Elmhurst Gateway Beautification Task Force, Alderman Dunn, Palumsky, Cahill, referred to Public Works. Report 7.5, report, City of Elmhurst, Elmhurst College Commission, name change request. 7.6, report, floor mat rental contract. 7.7, report, Union Pacific Railroad reimbursement agreement. 7.8, ZO22-2021, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for a planned unit development for the construction of townhomes at the property commonly known as 231 North Larch Avenue, Elmhurst, Illinois. 7.9, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for a planned unit development with a site development allowance for the construction of an addition to the building located on the property commonly known as 180 West Grand Avenue, Elmhurst, Illinois. 7.10, an ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of a non-exclusive license agreement by and between Elmhurst University and the City of Elmhurst, DuPage and Cook Counties, Illinois. 7.11, resolution authorizing the City of Elmhurst to adjust the wheeling rate charged to Illinois American Water Company pursuant to Section 5C of the Water Transmission and Delivery Agreement among the City of Elmhurst Citizens Utility Company of Illinois, now known as Illinois Water Company, and the DuPage Water Commission, dated August 15th, 1994. 7.12, a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Flag Creek Water Reclamation District and the City of Elmhurst for the water meter data collection services. 7.13, a resolution to approve and authorize the execution of a professional financial services agreement with Lauderbeck and Aymond LLP for the Finance Department of the City of Elmhurst, Illinois.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Alderman Palumsky, second Alderman Dunn. I think we're back to, we can. Roll call vote, yeah. All right, call the roll.
Alderman Dunn.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Palumsky.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill. Absent. Udira.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido.
Aye.
Mulliner.
Aye.
Brennan.
Aye.
Verimus.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
13 ayes, 0 nays, and 1 absent.
13 ayes, 0 nays, 1 absent. The consent agenda passes. Item 8, committee reports. Clerk Malone, will you read the subject of the report?
Report, Public Art Mural Program.
And then
It is therefore the recommendation of the Public Affairs and Safety Committee that the City Council create a public art mural program as outlined in the attached document. The city attorney is hereby directed to prepare the necessary documents for City Council approval. Signed, Marty Deuter, Chair, Jacob Hill, Vice Chair, and there's a vacancy.
All right. I may have a motion to put this before the council. Alderman Deuter, second Alderman Hill. Alderman Deuter.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to bring forward a recommendation that the city create a public art mural program. To provide the context for this report, I'm going to back up to 2018, which is when the City Council created the Elmhurst Public Arts Commission. Recognizing the benefits of public art, which is called for in both the Downtown Plan and the North York Plan, and also recognizing that the city didn't have a good vehicle for promoting public art, the Public Arts Commission was created, and Mayor Morley appointed its members. The group held its first meeting in December 2018. As stated in the ordinance that created the commission, the purpose of the commission is to implement a citywide plan for the promotion and placement of public art that includes but is not limited to sculptures, murals, and paintings in an effort to improve the business climate and aesthetic appeal of the city of Elmhurst. The commission's first project, the recently installed sculpture on First Street, 1 block west of Addison, was an opportunity that fortuitously fell to the commission and was discussed at their first meeting in 2018. As the commission was considering other possible projects, the concept of murals emerged, mainly driven by inquiries from organizations including Elmhurst University and the Spring Road Business Association. Commission members discussed murals with city staff, and city staff, guided by a provision in our sign code that prohibits signs from being painted directly on buildings, told the commission that our code does not allow murals. Accepting that interpretation, which was offered in 2019, the commission started thinking about what needed to change in order to allow murals in Elmhurst. Fast forward 18 months, and we get to the report being presented tonight that follows a referral from Alderman Verimus and me. The report reflects the work of city staff, city attorneys, commission members, and the Public Affairs and Safety Committee. I'm grateful for everyone's hard work. The report and attached document provide details on how the program will work and the process for reviewing applications. We looked at other communities with murals, and there is a wide range of approaches. Some communities have no mention of murals in their code, and the murals are created organically with no city oversight. Other communities have involved review processes. We contemplated a number of different approaches and arrived at the one being presented tonight, which falls on the more highly regulated side and gives the city as much oversight as is practical. Approval of this program will put Elmhurst in a position to enjoy the benefits of murals, as do many of our surrounding communities. One example is Glen Ellen, which approved a mural of Frida Kahlo on a building adjacent to the Prairie Path in their downtown area. The mural was championed by the College of DuPage Arts Center and the Glen Ellen Chamber of Commerce and is intended to promote the college's Frida Kahlo exhibit. Public art, including murals, helps Elmhurst offer residents and visitors unique and engaging experiences. I'm excited about the potential of the proposed program. I ask for your support, and the committee, Alderman Hill and I, will do our best to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Deuter. Other comments? Alderman Varamis?
Thank you, Mayor. My glasses. I appreciate the committee's and city staff's extensive research and work. The report has my full support. Many suburban towns utilize public art murals to enhance business districts and attract visitors. I have taken mural tours in Nashville, Tennessee, and over the weekend, I visited Pontiac, Illinois, home to 23 outdoor murals. My husband and I had a blast snapping pictures on our walking tour, followed by visiting 2 museums and lunch. Public art murals are freely accessible, popular, attract visitors, and can stimulate local economies. I think it would add vibrancy to Elmhurst, and I hope to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Varamis. Other comments? Alderman Mulliner.
I appreciate all the work that's been done on murals. I have some concerns about murals as it relates to the downtown Elmhurst and the rest of the city of Elmhurst. Murals are a wonderful program as far as in certain locations, but I don't believe that they're something that's going to actually draw in more community members or more people into our downtown. I think that we're going to end up with problems on maintenance of the murals. I understand we have a very detailed set of instructions. However, I'm concerned on, as people begin to put up murals and as we monitor them going up, things slipping through the cracks. As an example, we have signs that are going up now on buildings that are not being taken down because is it a mural or is it not a mural? And I think there's things that we really need to look at here, and I'm concerned that this is going to become the Elmhurst that I recall in the 1960s, which had murals on almost every building, which most of you, probably almost all of you don't remember. The murals that were on the buildings at that time were advertisements, and they were on almost every building because that's the way that they advertised. And I understand that this is not an intent to do advertising, but I can see a very slippery slope here, so I cannot support the concept of putting murals on any buildings at this point.
Thank you, Alderman Mulliner. Alderman Dunn.
I do have some questions. The approval process seems to be there's an application and coordination with city staff, and then that goes to the Public Art Commission for approval with an annual update to the Public Affairs and Safety Committee, who might put a memo out in general for the council. I see some of the review criteria. Is there criteria on the size of a mural? What would be too big, and also the content of a mural, if there was something in there objectionable. How does that get reviewed and evaluated by the commission?
Alderman Deuter.
Thank you, Mayor. All good questions, and I think all the input are things that we spent a fair amount of time discussing at the committee, with lots of input from staff and from the city attorney. As far as content, there was a lot of discussion that the content of murals and regulating murals in general, it's tricky. We outlined the review process. We do have the ability to say no, but I think in something that the commission, who has that oversight and will be doing the reviews, needs to be mindful of is that people's expression is protected by the First Amendment. So in our process, we have a lot built in where you need permission from the building owner, talk a lot about the qualifications of the artist. There are specifications around the maintenance to make that very clear that the onus of the maintenance falls on the property owner and they're acknowledging that and attesting to that. So all these conversations came up. We have the ability to say no. If we were to say no, but based on content, it puts the city in a position that would be very hard to defend. As far as murals in general, as we talked about the regulation, one of the discussions that fed the committee's consideration was a question about, right now, if someone were to choose to paint a mural on the side of their building, what tools do we have to object to that and require the removal? And the input, the response back to us is no good ones. So I actually think with this program, we will have more oversight than we currently do now. One of the requirements of this program will be, if passed, if implemented, anybody who wants to do a mural in Elmhurst will need to receive approval through this process. So that gives us that oversight that we don't currently have. One of the issues that came up earlier was around advertising and making the distinction between is something that's painted on a wall an expression, is it a mural, an artistic, or is it advertising? And, you know, there have been court challenges to that as well. But I think, you know, staff will do that first review. Anything that has commercial content will be treated as a sign and falls under a prohibition of a sign being painted directly on a building. So I think that's, you know, something that's built into the review process. And again, we spent a lot of time talking about this. We looked at other communities and what happens in other communities. And there are very few issues that arise. And I don't see a reason that Elmhurst would be different than the way that these have worked in other communities.
Alderman Brennan?
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm in support of this report. I think it's a great idea. I think it's taking the right steps to try to, you know, protect the potential downside associated with murals. If I may, I just have a question. So it says an applicant could be an individual artist or group of artists, a business owner, which is very logical to me, or not-for-profit.
Yeah. It's a building owner, not business owner.
Yeah, building owner,
Right,
sorry. Yep, fair enough, yep. So I'm a little surprised that it's not the building owner that's the applicant, right? And that there's a natural marriage that happens outside the process, and the building owner and the artist comes through this process together. So what happens if an individual artist comes through and there's not a building owner for their art? I mean, it just seems a little out of sequence to me.
Alderman Deuter?
It's a great question. One of the things that needs to come in with the application is an affidavit of some sort, and the attorneys are working on exactly what form that will take, where the building owner is attesting that they do in fact own the building, and that they are giving permission for the mural to be installed, and that they're assuming all the responsibility for maintenance of the mural.
Okay.
So it has to come in with the application regardless of who sends that in.
That makes sense, thank you. So I'm in support of this report, thanks.
Thank you, Alderman Brennan. Other comments, discussion? Alderman Toledo.
I had some similar concerns with this concept at the beginning. I did speak at length with Alderman Deuter about this, and I think that there are some protections in place. There's some significant barriers to entry, which I think are gonna kind of self-select projects that are gonna be fitting for Elmhurst. And, you know, honestly, I did see, I actually think I was in Pontiac too. There is, you know, I've seen some of the examples, but I saw some of the things in actual real life this summer, and they all look very well maintained. They're all very appropriate for that community and their history. A lot of them were very historical related. Both of those things have eased my concerns, and I will support this report. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Toledo. Other discussion? Alderman Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. As we were discussing this as a committee, I realized that having applicants for non-commercial murals in Elmhurst is a problem we'd like to have, really, because we're certainly not overrun with those applications. As I understood it, we only had one organization approach us for a mural request in recent history. So I think having a set of guidelines and documentation for people interested in the process, and to know that that we as a city have put the thought into what criteria need to be established, what rules need to be followed, or at least what some general guidelines are, is going to be very helpful and hopefully encourage non-commercial applicants for murals in this town.
Thank you, Alderman Hill. Anyone else? All right. Clerk Malone, please call the roll.
Alderman Dunn.
Aye.
Hill.
Aye.
Lumsky.
Aye.
Jensen. Toledo.
Aye.
Cahill absent. Nudira.
Aye.
Park.
Aye.
Conquest.
Aye.
Bastido.
Aye.
Mulliner.
No.
Brennan.
Aye.
Barimus.
Aye.
Deuter.
Aye.
12 ayes, 1 nay, and 1 absent.
12 ayes, 1 nay, 1 absent. The report is adopted. Thank you. Item 9, reports and recommendations of elected officials. I have two things to report on. The York project is coming along very well, but due to a little issue with the supplier of the vaults, we're running about 2 weeks behind, and one of the major commitments we had in advancing the project with District 205 was that we would be committed to having the project done before the start of the school year, which we're going to miss by about 2 weeks due to no fault of the school district. City manager and I and Public Works Director and the city engineer all met today to keep the communication open. We're going to continue to coordinate with the school district. We are quite confident that that 2 weeks is going to solve the issue. First day of school's coming up, so we'll be monitoring that. As things change through time, we got notification, if it went to all the aldermen that rock the block, has been canceled by City Center. A lot of logistic problems, not just crowds, but participation by restaurants and whether they would be able to do it in this environment. We're looking forward to other events to proceed, though. We've been in communication with the Turkey Trot, and we see no reason why that wouldn't go forward, and we'll just continue to monitor the situation. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. After last week's storm, we had quite a bit of debris on the parkways from city trees, and our crews have gone citywide to pick that up. I know that some of the residents are now bringing out the debris that was from trees on their own property. Our policy allows for 2 bundles per garbage cycle. So if residents can cut those up into 4-foot-long bundles and put them out with their garbage, they will be picked up by Republic. So if you could remind residents that contact you about that. We did put that on our website just to remind the residents. Second, this week, the neighborhood roll calls Tuesday are at Bonnie Bray and 3rd, and on Thursday at Parkside and Eggleston. And those are at 7 p.m. We've had excellent turnout this year. Thank you for getting the word out. The police always look forward to seeing their aldermen at these meetings, so please feel free to go there. One other item, you received the annual report for the fire department today at your positions. In addition to that, I'm not sure if it made it in there, but believe it or not, our antique fire truck is already turning 100 years old. So there's going to be a celebration for that. I know that Bill is working with Dave Oberg at the museum, and we will be hosting a birthday party for the fire truck September 17th at August 29th at the museum from 1 to 3. It should be a lot of family fun. And then the last item, and I'll turn to Alderman Deuter to see if she wants to announce the portal celebration and meet the artist.
I don't have the date in front of me, no, go ahead.
Well, of course, you know it's September 17th from 4 to 7, right out in front of the new sculpture that's there. And the artist Nicole Beck will be there, so everybody can meet her. We encourage everyone to come and celebrate the new piece of art in town.
All right, thank you. City Manager, do any other officials, elected officials, have any reports they want to deliver? There being none, is there any other business to be brought before the council? There being none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Alderman Nudera. Will anyone dare second that motion? Alderman Brennan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? We're adjourned. Thank you.